Hello, my name is David. I'm the Senior Solutions Engineer here with the SuiteDynamics team, and today I'll be walking you through our Suite Configurator product on the NetSuite platform. What Suite Configurator is meant to do is it's meant to streamline the manufacturing quoting process by giving you access to all of the different components of the manufacturing process through a single UI. What this allows you to do is it allows you to make any kind of adjustments, additions, subtractions, anything along those lines to any of the components, whether they be material or labor and machine components to a specific manufacturing build, make any kind of quantity or pricing adjustments, including markup percentages, and then outputting that as either an estimate, a full assembly configuration within NetSuite, or any of the parts thereafter, whether that's a BOM and revision, just a bill of materials, just a revision, anything along those lines. Most commonly, we'll see this tied to the estimation or quoting process, as you can tell by our main button here. Now, I did navigate to this interface through the UI, just through transactions and Suite Configurator. We can also attach this interface to the line level of an estimate or sales order transaction, so you can include multiple configurations through there. Within the configurator itself, I'm going to go ahead and give this a configuration name. I can go ahead and select a subsidiary as well as a customer that I'm going to create this estimate for. From this point, I can actually come down and start entering in specific components, specific labor lines, anything that I really need to add. However, what we see more commonly is that we can pull in an existing bill of material revision to use as a baseline to start making adjustments off of. So in this case, I'm going to pull in one of my demo revisions here. This will load in my individual components. And you can see that as soon as these components are loaded in with their associated units of measure, if they have them, as well as their material cost and bill of material quantity, that's going to calculate out here our extended cost. And that's going to give us immediate feedback in our top bar here, where we're calculating out the material cost, the production extended cost, as well as the total estimate price. From here, I can come through and make any adjustments to these lines that I need to make, or I can add additional components as well. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and add component 3A. And you can see when I add in component 3A, it is going to hold off on calculating out that extended cost until I fill out my quantity and unit of measure here. So I'll just go ahead and add one, and I will want to fill out the unit of measure for this item here. But once I have those items arrayed on the component sublist and I hit add, it calculates out that extended cost and adds that extended cost accordingly to both our material cost, our total production extended cost, as well as our estimate price. The manufacturing routing section here, or labor as it's labeled, is essentially the same thing. If you're familiar with the routing records within NetSuite, this will look very familiar. And again, we can go through and fill all of this out individually, manually, however we need to execute it. We can also pull in an existing routing. So as you can see, when I pull in this routing, it pulls in the associated setup and run times. It pulls in the associated costs, if there are any, and that will calculate out a total cost for that component build there. We also have the ability to tie in our configurator with some of our other products. So when we're talking about byproducts, that's going to tie into our Suite Fabricator platform, and then quality control will tie into our Suite Quality platform. We can additionally add markup percentages either at the line level or up here in the summary. So I can go ahead and add a 30% markup. That will be reflected in our total estimate price. This is very useful for if you have specific components or specific manufacturing operations that you want to include a burden markup on or something along those lines. You have the ability to define that either on the routing record or the material record, and that markup percentage will carry across into the configurator itself. Once I have everything set up through my configurator here, I can go ahead and save and create our corresponding estimate. As you can see, we've now generated our estimate. I do have a memo automatically generating, noting that this was created from our configuration suitelet. And if we come down here, I'll typically write this to a configured product placeholder as to not clutter the item list until the estimate or quote is converted to a sales order. However, we are creating that configured BOM as well as the configured routing. Those are stored in the system, and a reference to these is stored at the line level of this estimate transaction. So we are able to reference this on any kind of export documents if you want to send a component list out to the customer, anything along those lines. So in short, that is the Suite configurator in a nutshell.